Howdy, guys, and welcome to Cliff Notes, and welcome to a recap of episode 6 of the challenge, Ride or Dies. Now, before we talk about this week's episode, let's talk about what happened last week. If you recall, Jay and Michelle had the power. They had put up Laurel and Jack, and Colleen and Kim ended up going into the elimination arena as well. Well, we lost Colleen and Kim, which is unfortunate for the two of them, and I hated to see them go. They were good, a good group of newbies, but we lost Colleen and Kim, which, in terms of the drama, just ramps it up that much more for this week because, again, we've got Laurel and Jack very upset at Jay and Michelle for putting them on the block, so to speak, putting in elimination arena. So they are definitely out for blood this week. Let's see what happens. So let's talk about tonight's elimination. Well, as we start off the episode, we see Laurel still a little upset at Jay and Michelle. Laurel and Olivia are talking, and Olivia is mentioning the fact that Michelle was the only person that was cheering for Colleen and Kim during the competition. Yeah, you know a lot. You can tell a lot by who's cheering for who that's watching these comps. I got to think, you got to be cheering for both groups, right? To stay unbiased and make sure no one gets mad at you. Well, Olivia's going out of her way to point out that, yeah, Michelle wasn't doing that. She was cheering for Colleen and Kim. She's the only one. As though Laurel needed any more reason or justification to be going after Michelle and Jay this week. But Olivia's happy to provide that. So we've got that going on. We see rather early in this episode, I call it the fake nightclub. Them all going to the nightclub, hanging out, talking, doing a little dancing, whatever going on. But we see everyone at the fake nightclub. Lots of talk about motivation. It was kind of interesting watching this. Anissa talking about how important it is for her to be there and to represent well, that she's there for a lot of representation. Not a lot of people that look like Anissa are always on the show. Jordan is talking about the fact that being born without full use of his hand, without a full hand, has made things difficult. He's there to represent as well. I really enjoyed hearing those stories. We've got that. We've also got Nany talking to Bananas about how important, how motivated she is to be playing this season since she just lost her mom. She's playing for her mom, and so there are certainly, I mean, we see the drama, we see everyone season in, season out, but there's a lot of people in this playing this game for a lot of different reasons. I always like hearing the backstories. So we do have a lot of those conversations going on. And now back to the drama and the chaos that is the challenge. We've got Jack still very perturbed at Jay for sending him into elimination. And remember, these guys were tight. It was Michelle and Laurel were the ones that were not working well together. Jay and Jack were tight. No more. Jay, it looks like, is trying to kind of mend fences a little bit. Jack's having none of it. He's done with it. Eventually, we see them working out with each other. We see them both working out outside, and Jay eventually just starts kind of poking Jack, and Jack's poking back, which sometimes is a good sign that there may be some resolution at some point. Not sure it's going to happen yet because they definitely are not on the best of terms right now. So we'll see where that goes. Now, we talk about not necessarily being on the best of terms. We had Horatio and Laurel kind of doing a little flirting for the earlier episodes of the season, which was kind of I thought, a little bit of an odd connection, but they seem to be very friendly with one another. But we learn at this point in time that a lot of that has come to an end. Apparently, there was a lot of flirting, but apparently Laurel has discovered, or Horatio has told Laurel that there's a girl back home. Maybe she's not his girlfriend, but he's aiming to maybe make that the case. Enough of a connection that Laurel does not want to be the third wheel, and so she's more or less called it quits with Horatio. I thought these two would work well together. And Laurel and Jack, Laurel being a vet, Horatio and Olivia being newbies, I thought from a strategic standpoint, this would have potentially worked as well. And they may work together, but they're certainly not taking it beyond a working relationship, it seems, at this point in time. And Laurel's upset. She seemed to have a lot invested in it. She's not happy at all. She's saying it seems like she's always the case that she's the one ends up kind of getting dumped or not being able to go all the way through with things at the end and everything. And so, yeah, Laurel is not happy the way things have worked out. But again, they may continue to work together. We'll see. We got a lot of season left in this game. So with all the pre-game type conversations and everything getting set up, let's talk about today's challenge to see who's going to get power going forward. Down the line is how it's called. Now, I like this challenge. I don't know that I've seen exactly this setup before. It was a cool one. Basically, again, everyone's competing in duos, as you would expect for this particular Ride or Die season. The duos have to start off, and it's going to be run in 2 heats. The duos race across the field to a target spot, an area, I don't know, a couple of feet wide, spray painted with their team color, their duo color. They both have to start digging into this dirt. Once they've dug far enough down, they find some puzzle pieces, a bag of puzzle pieces. Once they've discovered that bag of puzzle pieces, one person immediately pops up, runs down to a base platform across a big area of water, runs down to the bottom of this platform where there's a crank. They have to start turning the crank. The more they turn the crank, the more they pull in a little, we'll call it a fishing bobber, a big stopper. There are zip lines across this body of water. The more they can crank this bobber towards them, when the other person goes down the zip line, the further they can go, the less amount of time they have to spend swimming. So you have to turn that crank as quick as you can to save your partner time. So that's what's happening with one partner. While they're doing that, the second partner continues to dig in the same hole, trying to find a second bag of puzzle pieces. Once they have both bags, then they hightail it up the other direction to the top of the zip line, hop on board, zip line across the water, depending on how good your partner has done in terms of turning that crank. You zip line as far as you can, hit the water, swim the rest of the way. At that point, the duo works together to solve a word puzzle. Easy, right? Yeah, they're never easy on this game. I'll start by saying this. If you watch Survivor, sometimes they have to dig for puzzle pieces. It looks like they're just digging in sand, right? A big old hole's been dug, stuff filled in, sand put on top of it. Just dig until you get to the bottom of it. Not so much on the challenge. This I mean, maybe they already pre-dug the hole. They obviously did if they wanted to bury pieces, but this is dirt. This isn't sand. This takes a lot more effort, and these puzzle pieces seem to be buried a lot deeper than we see in other reality shows. It takes a lot of work to get this stuff taken care of. So as we start off, we see that Faisal and Mariah are the first to find their bag. And so immediately they find their bag, followed just a little bit later by Jay and Michelle, and then Laurel and Jack. So we've got 3 groups that found their bags pretty quickly. But with all that being said, Devin is actually the first one to find the second bag. Remember, it takes 2 bags before you get to the zip line. Devin's actually the first one to find his second bag. He makes it up to the top of the ramp. Tori's had enough time to get her bobber most of the way down the line. So Devin is actually the first one to make it down the zip line, swim across, get out on the water, and he and Tori are the first ones to actually start solving their puzzle. Even though these other 3 duos had a little bit of a lead start. We see also as another team in this first round, Nani and Bananas, not too far behind. They're working on their puzzle as well. Not working well together on this puzzle. Nani is very focused, very serious. Remember, we just heard her talking about she's doing this all for her mom. And now we got Bananas over there kind of screwing around and working on the puzzle, but also throwing out a lot of wisecracks and things like that. Nani's not having any of it. She's saying, Johnny, you better be helping me do this puzzle. Just stop it. They're really snapping at each other a little bit during the competition itself. So not the team that's working so well together. But while all that's going on, remember I said that we had 3 duos that all found their bags rather quickly. Well, even though they found the first ones quickly, not so much the second one. Jay is losing major amounts of time looking for a second bag. I'm telling you, these were buried deep. So Jay's lost a lot of time, and even further behind than Jay is Laurel. So Jay and Michelle, Laurel and Jack, with them targeting each other, it's so vital that they win this thing. And yet they're the last 2 teams in the first round looking for their second bags. But even though they start off way behind, we actually have one of these 2 find the second bag, get down the zip line, and amazingly solve the word puzzle first and win this round. So who was it? It was Jay and Michelle. Yeah, Jay eventually found that bag, got down to the end, and they just did an incredible job of solving the puzzle. I think it was about 5 words, all having to do with friendship. They solved it quicker. How could everyone else take so long to solve it? Other than Nany and Bananas, who with Bananas twisting off a little bit. But yeah, Jay and Michelle figured it out quick. They win the first round. Now we wait to see who wins the second round to see who's going to be in control for this week. So on the second round, we have some teams start off strong again. We've got Casey and her brother Kenny are the first to find their first bag. So Kenny takes off to start turning the crank for the bobber on the zip line. But just as we saw in the earlier round, difficulty finding that second bag. Casey is digging and digging, and she's just not having any success finding that second bag. While she continues to work, and it really got frustrating for her. She was incredibly upset with it. While she's struggling with that, Horatio and Olivia, remember the duo of newbies who've done pretty well this season. Yeah, they do it again. Once more, they find their second puzzle piece, get across the zip line. They win round 2 of the competition. So it's going to come down to either Jay and Michelle or Horatio and Olivia are going to be in charge of this particular week. So yeah, Jay and Michelle, vets, Horatio and Olivia, the newbies, really can change a lot of what happens this particular week. So who actually solved the puzzle the fastest? Turns out the winners this week are Jay and Michelle. Yeah, it's a twofer. It's that second time in a row Jay and Michelle have won. If you're Laurel and Jack, you got to be a little bit nervous at this point, right? Well, absolutely. You got to be a little bit nervous. So yeah, Jay and Michelle have won for the second week in a row. Are they going to go after Laurel and Jack again like they did last week? I would think you got to. But Michelle does talk to the cameras a little bit and says, look, I'm glad we won. We needed the protection. It's not, it's all good. But she's saying, when you win 2 of these things in a row, it could be a huge target on us. And that's absolutely the case. Not only do they have a huge target on them, but Laurel's got friends in this house. She and Jack are going to certainly have a lot of people that are going to work with them against Jay and Michelle. So there's a lot of reasons that Jay and Michelle need to be a little bit worried. Once you've won a couple of these things, you better keep on winning. It's, I think, what they're going to find out. But they have won, so at least they've got the control for this week. So I mentioned Laurel and Jack a little bit worried. Well, guess who else is a little bit worried? Nany and Bananas. Yeah, Bananas had it easy so far. No one's going after him. He got lucky. A lot of people question why Jay and Michelle didn't put him up last week. But he's telling Nany, saying, look, I don't think we're going to get saved 2 weeks in a row. They caught a lot of heat for not putting us up last week. I just don't think we're going to get saved twice in a row. And he's probably right on that. We do find out, though, ahead of all of this, that Michelle and Tori had actually made a deal with each other, that they would protect each other. If either one of them won the competition, that they would not put the other one in Elimination Arena this week. So Michelle's doing what she can to protect herself. And of course, she's safe, so she's good. But in making that commitment, it's also one less duo that's available to get put in. So you don't have as many. We're starting to lose teams, so you're not having as many targets. Would you have to pick 4 different duos, 8 different people to get interrogated and potentially go into the Elimination Arena? That's a lot of people that you get upset with you when you make your pick. So it's become difficult. They're running out of targets at this point in time. And so they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. We do have Michelle and Jay talking to Aneesa and Jordan, who were on the block last week, or in the elimination last week, in the elimination group, I guess, one of the 4. Michelle and Jay are telling Aneesa and Jordan, saying, look, we don't want any more blood on our hands than we have to. It may just be putting up the same duos that we put up last week. And obviously y'all know that we're going after Laurel and Jack. So, if we put you up, it's not because we want you to go home. It's just because y'all were up last week. And Aneesa and Jordan are not down with that. I think Jordan at one point says, look, it's not tit for tat. It's not, y'all put us up, so we'll put you up, back and forth. He said, I don't want to play that. He said, but if you continue to put us in the Elimination Arena, well, it only makes sense that we're going to have to do the same thing if we get up there. So we don't want tit for tat, but if you keep doing it, just understand what's going to result from that. Don't be surprised if the same thing happens when the roles are reversed. So threat, yeah, as it probably should be. So with that being said, who do Jay and Michelle pick for the 4 duos to get interrogated and be at risk for this particular week? Well, they picked Laurel and Jack. Anyone surprised at that? Nah, you shouldn't be. Not if you're watching the show. They've also picked Nany and Bananas. Not a surprise there, as much flack as they got for not picking them the week before. They've also picked Aneesa and Jordan, which, yeah, another couple, another duo. It's a little upset, a little perturbed at that. And as the final pick, and this one surprised me a little bit, Casey and Kenny. Yeah, their first time to go into the interrogation room and potentially be at risk is this week. So Casey and Kenny are up there as well. Now, that group of 4 duos, the thing that really stands out, obviously Laurel and Jack, you think have to be the primary target, but you've got Bananas and Nany, and you've got Casey and Kenny. Well, Nany and Casey are girlfriends, so obviously they're going to be watching out for each other, right? Which, if I'm Aneesa and Jordan, it's only going to irritate me even more when I realize that probably being picked to go into the elimination arena is going to be Laurel and Jack. And then Nany, if she draws the safety dagger, she'll save Casey. Casey, if she draws it, she'll certainly save Nany. It just makes it that much more likely Aneesa and Jordan are going into the elimination and absolutely being at risk just because of the other duos that were picked for the interrogation. So yeah, I'd be a little bit chapped if I was the 2 of them. And Aneesa is realizing what's going on and not at all happy that they got burned, not only by getting picked, but then based on the other duos that picked them as well. So let's talk about the interrogations themselves a little bit before we talk about the elimination competition. Laurel and Jack are talking about how they're a little bit surprised that the same couples from last week weren't thrown in. And, obviously you can't pick Colleen again. And they got heat, Michelle and Jay, for not picking Johnny and Bananas. So I kind of get it. But Laurel's saying, why wouldn't you just kept the same people? And she's also saying this. She's saying, why in the world would you put myself and Jack in when we don't win any challenges? Why wouldn't you put someone who actually wins challenges in the game? Well, I will give Laurel credit for this. Last week, she wouldn't even talk to Michelle and Jay. It was the quickest interrogation maybe we've seen all season. She wasn't having any of that. She wasn't negotiating. She wasn't trying to kiss up. She was just outright upset. She tried a little bit this week. She's trying to say, why wouldn't you do that? Well, from Jay and Michelle's standpoint, they know that Laurel's going to come after them if she does win something, and she certainly is capable of winning something. So whether it's their fault or not, they have made, and it is their fault, they've made Laurel, they are now one of Laurel's big targets. So of course it makes sense that they would put her in, but Laurel's questioning that. On to the next interrogation. We got Jay telling KC, saying, look, we put you in here because we had to put Nany and Bananas because everyone gave us a hard time for not doing it. And by putting you in here, Casey, it's actually to protect Nany because we know that you'll save Nany and she'll save you. So it only makes sense putting you in here helps both of y'all out. Yeah, I guess I can kind of see the argument made on that. And he says that the idea is to send Laurel and Jack home by putting them up against a strong team that will compete against them, send them home. Well, I don't follow this because knowing that Nany will save KC and vice versa, there's a decent, reasonable chance you're going to get Aneesa and Jordan against Laurel and Jack. Are Aneesa and Jordan the strong team that's going to send Laurel and Jack out the door? I guess it could be, but I guess it depends on what kind of competition it is. That is maybe not who I would consider the strongest team. If I was going to do that, I'm picking Faisal or probably Faisal. Someone like that to go against Laurel and Jack. But they're saying that's why we're just wanting a strong team in there, and we want you to be able to protect your girlfriend and her to protect you as well. Yeah, we'll see how that works out. He's telling Nany and Bananas that they brought Casey in for the same reason. They brought Casey in to protect both of them, and they're okay with that. They understand the thinking of it, and they're not surprised to be in. So if they get someone to help them out a little bit, so much the better. Finally, they tell Aneesa and Jordan that they just didn't want to ruffle any more feathers by putting in a whole new group of 4 people, and that's why they're there. But it doesn't go well, and I think this is unfortunate for Aneesa and Jordan because Jordan at one point actually says, "Look, Jay, I can't trust you at this point. You've put us in twice. I can't trust you. This is going to be the price you pay. And really not playing ball with Jay and Michelle. They're very upset. They're calling Jay and Michelle weak. And that set Jay off. We now know little poking points for Jay going forward in future seasons. Call him weak, say he's playing a weak game, and he'll blow up, because that's exactly what he does. It's got him incredibly upset. And I don't think that's the best thing that Aneesa and Jordan wanted, but they just had enough of it. So now we very much have Jay not getting along well with Jack, but also not getting along with Jordan as well. Telling you, when you bring in 4 couples, you burn a lot of bridges because of it. All right, we've got Nany and Bananas talking a little bit, talking back about the challenge itself, and we won't spend a lot of time on this, but Nany's upset. She's saying, look, Bananas, look, Johnny, I just got through telling you that I'm motivated by losing my mom. That's why I'm here. That's why it's so important to win. She's saying, you've won this thing on 7 times. She said, I want to win. I want to get my first win. And when you're sitting there screwing around during the challenge and making it like you're out there just having fun, not helping me win, that doesn't help me. I don't want that anymore. And Bananas comes back. He says, look, first thing, he says, if we had won, we would have so much more blood on our hands, because we would have had to pick those 4 duos, just like Jay and Michelle had to do. And he said, we don't want everyone upset with us. I guess I get it, but you're inside the interrogation room now, and potentially at risk for going home as well. So it's just the way the game's played this week. But he's saying, look, it probably benefits us better that we didn't win. He said, but I get it, and I'm sorry. I'm just having fun, but I will do everything it takes going forward to win these challenges and make sure that you advance. And I think he's serious when he said that. But I get what he's saying about you do get a lot of blood on your hands when you win these things as well. All right, we do have Casey and Kenny talking to Nany and Bananas, and basically they're just saying, look, we got your backs, y'all got ours. Let's make sure that, unless the other person, unless someone else draws a safety dagger, if it's one of us that has the control, let's save each other. And they're all in agreement with that, as we all know is going to be the case. All right, now final thing. Well, a couple of fun things before we get to competition. Remember, Faisal seemed pretty tight with Colleen for the first part of the season. They flirted a lot, spent a lot of time together, getting to know each other. Well, Colleen went home last week, so unfortunately that has not worked. So Faisal has moved on to his new interest, who happens to be Laurel. Yeah, Laurel was feeling a little down with finding out Horatio had a pseudo girl back home, so she's feeling a little down. Faisal's in to comfort her and let her know everything's going to be okay, and they seem to get a little friendly, laying together, relaxing in bed together a little bit. They challenge shows a little bit here and there, but who knows what happens. But they certainly flirted around a little bit and got a little friendly with each other. So now we've got Faisal and Laurel as a potential item as well. So final thing before going on Elimination Arena, we've got Nany really laying the guilt trip on Michelle, talking about how that she's there, that how dare she put her in, even worse, how dare she put her in against Casey, that she's got to understand how being in by yourself is bad enough, but being in and potentially having to compete against your girlfriend to see who goes home, how dare Michelle do it? I'm telling you, she really lays it on tight, and it affects Michelle. Michelle is very upset afterwards. She's telling Jay, I think we messed up. I wish I hadn't done it. But Jay points out, says, look, Nany had no problem putting you in when she had the opportunity. She's happy to send you out the door. So this is a game. This is our share of $1 million. So you can't play it like that. And he had a good point, but Michelle's just really not regretting, but she's certainly feeling bad that she got called out by Nany, and that Nany is so upset, and that it's balancing the emotions versus the strategic gameplay. All right, with all of that going on, let's talk about the elimination itself. We see everyone walking in the elimination. The arena is filled with giant pictures of everyone's faces. I don't know, like 2-foot big old marquees of everyone's faces inside hoop, kind of circular frames spread out around the arena. And so we don't know what the challenge is going to be, but that's a setup. So Jay and Michelle are in charge. They have to pick one of the 4 duos to immediately go into the elimination arena to be fighting for certain for their life. And who have they picked? Is it Laurel and Jack? No, it's not. It's Aneesa and Jordan. Yeah, that surprised me a little bit. They've said that Laurel and Jack are their targets, but I just don't think the interrogation room helped Aneesa and Jordan at all. Calling Jay weak obviously set him off. They've decided that, hey, if you're going to talk to us like that, you're in. So Aneesa and Jordan are most definitely going to be fighting it for their lives. So now we have a draw amongst the other three duos to see who's going to go in with them. The worst possible situation for Laurel and Jack. Well, I guess the worst is if you get put in by Michelle and Jay. But as we talked about before, of the three of them, if Laurel and Jack do not draw the safety dagger, almost certainly the other two duos are going to save each other, and Laurel and Jack go into elimination. So who pulls the safety? Well, Nany pulls it. So Nany and Bananas are safe. Who's she going to save? Yeah, she's going to save Casey and Kenny, and she does exactly that. So our elimination battle is set up. It's going to be Aneesa and Jordan versus Laurel and Jack. The loser goes home. The winner survives and has a whole lot of pent-up aggression. And either way, Jay and Michelle are not looking good going forward in terms of at least having someone very much targeting them. So that's who we're going to have competing against each other. It turns out that this competition is a kind of a dodgeball type competition. Both partners in each duo have to start off, run across the arena, grab a bunch of cinder blocks, just like you get down the home improvement store, grab a bunch of cinder blocks, run back across the arena, set them on top of a giant cube. Once you've set enough of these weights on top of a giant cube, it causes one of the doors to spring open on a cube, and a whole bunch of balls, dodgeballs, fall out. At that point in time, you have one of the two people picks up the balls, start trying to throw them at the circles representing the other team's pictures of the other team. And the idea is that you have to knock out all the pictures of your duo, of the team you're competing against, knock out all of their pictures first. If so, you survive, they go home. So one person's throwing that ball. The other person runs over and stands in front of their own pictures and tries to defend the thrower, try to block the shots that are coming towards them. So again, it's just like dodgeball. One's on offense, one's on defense. There's certainly incentive to get your balls out of that container first so you can throw the first few balls before anyone can protect it. We start off going, Jordan and Aneesa are inspired. There's nothing light about these cinder blocks, but they are carrying the blocks, as are Laurel and Jack. I mean, they're all playing hard, but we eventually do see Aneesa and Jordan release their balls first. They get to take some of the first shots. Now, as you watch, it actually does get pretty close. They're trying hard. It just seems like Aneesa and Jordan were more inspired. Jordan is humming these balls, trying to take out the targets. I think he's going up against Jack, if I recall. Aneesa is throwing the balls, and she just can't get enough power on them. Aneesa is moving. She's throwing her arms up. She's blocking a lot of shots. And as a result, Aneesa and Jordan win it. I gotta say, I cheer for the underdog. Were they underdogs? I don't know. Maybe a little bit. Seems like Aneesa sometimes is considered a little bit of an underdog. So I'm always cheering for Aneesa because of that. I was glad to see her win it. I was glad to see Jordan win it. Hate to see Laurel and Jack go home, but it is what it is. So we've lost Laurel and Jack. Maybe it's Faisal's fault. He was flirting with Colleen. She went home. He flirted with Laurel. She's going home. Maybe Faisal's a curse, and the rest of these ladies in this house better be watching out for it. I'm going to be watching next week. I'm going to be paying attention. But we did lose Laurel and Jack as a result. Before they go home, they or head out of the arena, they go over to Aneesa and Jordan and say, look, whatever you do, we're done, but whatever you do, make sure you send Jay and Michelle out the door. Make sure that you get vengeance for us. We know you want it. We want it. Take out Jay and Michelle. And Aneesa and Jordan are all on board with that. Say, absolutely, that's who we're going for. They'll be following right behind you, so don't worry about it. So there you have it, guys. We lost Laurel and Jack. Aneesa and Jordan are still here. Yay. But they definitely have their target. as I said at the very beginning, now that Jay and Michelle have won 2 competitions in a row, they almost have to just keep on winning, or at least hope that, I don't know, it's vet versus vet at this point in time. So what happens if another vet wins? Are they going to just leave these 2 targets alone and go back after the newbies again? That very well could be the case, but yeah, it's going to be fun. Definitely some high tempers at this episode, and I'm sure we'll see it next week. Fun episode, guys. I will be back again next week to talk about episode 7. Until then, y'all have a fantastic week. SKD 143. Cheers, my friends.